I tried to stay away, but he kept pulling me in. Please don't forget to subscribe and comment. It began on an evening when the air itself seemed to carry secrets. I had convinced myself I wouldn't see him again. My chest still held the burn from the last time, the way he'd looked at me like he knew every locked door inside my mind and was ready to step through them one by one. I told myself I was done. No more late nights, no more chances for him to undo me. But as I walked through the dim parking lot, my heels clicking against the wet asphalt, I felt him before I saw him. A presence, quiet but powerful, just beyond the reach of the light. I didn't have to turn to know it was him. Leaving without saying goodbye, Maargaret? His voice, deep, steady, made my stomach tighten in ways I hated to admit. I kept walking. Goodbye, Franklin. My tone was clipped, but my steps quickened toward my car. My pulse was already unsteady, like my body remembered him even when my mind screamed to forget. Before I could reach the handle, his shadow moved faster. He stepped in front of me, close enough that I caught the faint scent of cedar and something darker. The kind of scent that lingers on your skin and makes you remember all the wrong things for all the right reasons. You think you can just vanish? His tone wasn't angry. It was amused, like I was playing a game I had no chance of winning. This isn't a game, I said. But my voice didn't sound as certain as I wanted. He leaned in, not touching, yet it felt like his presence was pressed against every inch of me. Then why are you trembling? It's cold, I lied. His smirk told me he didn't buy it. No, it's me. I tried to step aside, but his arm lifted, blocking me without touching. That restraint was worse than contact. It left room for my imagination to run wild with what might happen if he let go of his control. The wind picked up, sending a strand of hair across my lips. Without hesitation, Franklin reached up, not brushing, not grazing, just taking the strand between his fingers and slowly tucking it behind my ear. The movement was deliberate, confident, and maddeningly slow. My heart pounded so hard I could hear it. Why are you here? I asked. Because you keep pretending you don't want me, he said. But you haven't been able to look away since I stepped out of the shadows. It wasn't entirely true. I had looked away, but only because looking too long felt like stepping too close to a cliff. This is dangerous, I whispered. His eyes held mine. That's the point. The way he said it sent a ripple down my spine. My car was right there, safety just an arm's reach away, but instead of moving toward it, I found myself leaning against the cool metal of the door, letting him close the space. He didn't touch me. Not yet. He simply stood close enough that I could feel his warmth, hear the steadiness of his breathing against my own unsteady rhythm. My hand gripped the edge of the car like it was the only thing keeping me grounded. Tell me to leave, he murmured. I opened my mouth to do exactly that. But what came out was silence. My throat locked, betraying me. His smile deepened, not the gentle kind, but the one that said he knew I'd already lost this fight. Franklin took one step closer. His hand rested against the car beside my hip, caging me in without force. The other stayed at his side, as if he was daring me to be the one to close the gap. Maargaret, he said softly, almost like a warning. I swallowed. You need to stop. But you don't want me to. The rain started then, light drops tapping against the hood of my car, sliding down the windows. My hair dampened, sticking to my cheek, and before I could brush it away, Franklin's fingers moved again. Slow, precise, tucking it back while his knuckles grazed just enough to make my breath hitch. I can't keep doing this, I whispered, though my hands betrayed me by resting against his chest instead of pushing him away. You'll keep doing this, he said. Because you can't stay away any more than I can. And then, finally, he closed the space. His mouth was on mine before I could find another excuse, his kiss deep and certain, like he'd been holding it back for far too long. The taste of him, the heat of him, erased every reason I had to resist. My fingers curled into his shirt, pulling him closer when I should have pushed him away. The kiss broke only when the sound of a car door slamming somewhere nearby jolted us apart. He stepped back just enough to let me breathe, but not enough to give me space. "This isn't over," Franklin said, his voice low, a promise and a threat all in one. He walked away without looking back, disappearing into the rain like he'd never been there. But my heart was still racing, my lips still tingling, and I knew, no matter how hard I tried, he'd pull me back in again. And next time, I wouldn't even try to resist.